Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. When I was making a normal pod the other day, I was wondering how it would work making a double pod and if it was possible. Well, here it is. As I had already cut the lengths for just a normal single pod, which is what I was going to make in the first place, I did have to add some extra lengths onto the back to make this double. The lengths that I used and timestamps are in the description below. If you are comfortable making a normal pod, feel free to skip ahead to where I start on the second section. Before I do get started, please give this video a like, and if you would like to see more from me about macrame, hit subscribe. Let's go! Okay, so I've taken 2 of the longer pieces. I've taped them at the top there so it's easier to work with. Now I want it to be starting off around 15 centimeters from the top, so that's about here, and I'm just going to make a square knot so I know where I'm starting from. Okay, that's nice and tight. I'm just going to take these 2 pieces out to the sides and I'm going to tape them there. Taking each section of cord, I'm going to move that over in a lark's head knot. So from here, we're now going to bring these two sides together and make another square knot here. Now we don't want it too tight. We want it to sit just a little bit lower than these knots. We're going to continue adding in rows. So alternating as you go through. Now I'd already started adding a row in already. Now it's up to you which way you would like it to face, with the lark's head knots facing to the outside, or if you would like the inner side that I've got here facing out. Now I would like the lark head knots to be on the inside, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up inverting that. If you would like the lark head knots to be on the outside, then all you need to do for this next step is just invert it and pull all the cords through. Okay, so that's inverted now. And so you do the next step here, whereas I would like this to be the finish on the outside, so I'm just going to turn it back out, inside out. Okay, so from the center, so these knots here, that is the center that we'll be focusing on. We have two that are beside it. We're going to count 1, 2 from the center, and then we're going to take these two cords, so it would be from 2 different knots, and then the same on the other side, so 1, 2. So this is the second one, and then we're going to take these 2 knots. Now I'm going to flip it over, so we're looking at it from above. So we've got these 2 knots here, and we're going to go 1, 2. We're going to take 2 from this section. So this first one, we've got 1 cord coming off of from that knot, so we're including this in the 1, 2. The second one, we're taking these 2 cords and doing the same from the other side. So where this cord is, we can count 1, 2 knots, And then on that second knot, we're going to take the 2 outside cords, one from that one and the knot beside it. Now carefully, we're going to combine all 4 of these. So what we're going to do is just create a loop, and then this is going to come back through it. Now as we tighten, we don't want it to pull too tight on the actual shape, because that will misshapen it and it'll look a little bit funny. But we want it to be nice and tight at the same time, because this is what our plant is actually going to be sitting on. So for me, that's a little bit loose, so I'm just going to loosen that and then tighten it back up again. Bring it through a bit. And then nice and tight. Now as we invert, we're going to keep that knot upside down, but just pull the corresponding cords through their little sections between the cords that we've used. Okay, just make sure that everything's in the right spot. Okay, so we won't really be using these again. This is what it should look like. So you'll have the main section of the pod, and then you'll have this small section coming up from the center. Now just test it with something that's about the right size. Okay, so I've just trimmed the ends off this so it doesn't get in the way, and the reason why we inverted it and tied the knot in this way is so that it isn't hanging out the bottom and we don't see it. So this is about the size of the pod, and that way it's not coming down the bottom, fits in there nicely, and it's not going to fall through. So pretty happy with that. Now, because we used some cords, we used 4 sections of cord, we're going to take some other cord and attach it to it. Now to replace the cords that we just lost, we're going to take another, we've got 4 more pieces of cord, fold it in half. Now the square knots that we would have made, so we would have used these 2 cords in the center to make a square knot, but we're not going to do that. We're going to wrap this new piece around these 2. And we want to make sure this one is nice and tight, because we don't want it to slip off. And then just start going from there around until you get to the next piece. So do the other square knots like normal. And then when you get to this new section with the 2 missing pieces, just add in your next piece of cord. that we've finished that top section there, we're going to start on the opening of the second section. So we're going to take, this is going to be our 2 working cords for the opening. We're going to use double half hitch knots, and we're going to take the first 2 cords, so we'll take them one at a time from the square knot that's to the left. And then do the same on the opposite side. Now from here, we're just going to keep going with the square knots around for another row. Taking the next 2 cords from that last square knot that we did and attaching them as a double half hitch again. When I was making this design, I did think these looked pretty cute, as if they were a little doorway, like a little curtain to a doorway here. Okay, so just keep adding each row as you go. And it's going to be 4 rows that we'll be doing, since we started the double half hitches up here. So we've got to do 1 more row, but this isn't going to join onto the double half hitch knots. So now what we need to do is very carefully trim these cords that are used on the double half hitch knots. We can tidy that up later, so it's a bit neater.
We're going to make that into another double half hitch,
but we're going to do it. We're going to come from behind and over the top like this, and just as we did at the start, we're going to start making them into into square knots. And you can do it row by row. I'm just adding them on now. That's going to start to come back down. Okay, so we've got 4 there, which is the same amount that we used at the top. So then that'll eventually come in together. And then we bring these two together, just like we've done at the top there. So what we'll do now is we'll just fill in all of these rows until it comes down. We'll do another 2 below that first section. So once you have finished doing all the rows, just simply bring it all together at the bottom. I used a gathering knot, you can use whatever you would like, and then just trim the base, and there you have your lovely little double planter. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please give it a like if you did. I do try to upload every day, so make sure you hit subscribe to not miss out on all the new content. Until next time, see ya!